let you go, James, I've got to ask you about King Charles. Now, he, a couple of weeks ago, of course, changed his job title. So he's always been known as the king, the defender of the faith, one faith.
Yes, the Christian faith.
The Christian faith. And suddenly he decides to change it to multi-faith nation. Yesterday he's gone and visited a mosque, and I just want to play you a little bit of what he said.
It's been such a pleasure to have this brief opportunity of calling on you today, as I hope a not too inconvenient time. I pray with all my heart that it will continue with every possible success in this area to set a remarkable example of integrated faith activity. So thank you for having me here today.
Integrated faith activity. Who does this king represent?
Well, he clearly does not represent the Church of England or the Christian faith anymore by his own volition. Instead of being defender of the faith, he calls himself, what is it, defender of the space for faiths.
Yeah.
So he's saying, look, there shouldn't be one faith that we all say this faith should be dominant or this is the truth. It's this whole cultural relativism, moral relativism. Well, you know, there's truth in everything and everyone's got a little bit of the truth. I'm not sure how you can defend the Christian faith and defend Islam at the same time. And if you want to believe Islam, that's fine. But I think anyone with any knowledge of religion understands Christianity and Islam are not two peas from the same pod. They're diametrically opposed. You can't integrate the two because they believe fundamentally different things. I don't want to turn this into a religious broadcast, Tanika, but very quickly, Christianity teaches Jesus is God in human flesh. Islam says Jesus is a created being. He's not God at all. Those two do not come together one bit.
No.
So it's fundamentally opposed. So for King Charles to claim he's the defender of the Christian faith while frequenting mosques and saying he wants Islam to prosper throughout the country, I mean, it's an utter contradiction. Either he doesn't understand religion at all, which may be the case, or no, he mustn't understand religion.
No, I don't think he does. And I'm pro-monarchy. I am a very, very staunch monarchist. But I worry about King Charles as the head of the Commonwealth. I worry about his ideology, and I do agree with you when it comes to Islam, because in the end, he took on that title at his coronation to be the defender of the one faith and defend the Church of England. And since then, we've seen him, you know, pack dates for Ramadan. He's now visiting mosques. What do you believe in, King Charles? That's what I would like to know. What's your faith?
Yeah, and you're more likely these days to see King Charles leaving a mosque talking about the virtues of Islam than you are to see him leaving a cathedral talking about the amazing contribution Christianity has made to the world and that most of our freedoms come from the Christian faith. And so that's very telling, isn't it? And it's not his role to redefine what's important in the monarchy. He is the inheritor of a long legacy and a long tradition that has made the United Kingdom one of the great empires of the world. And say what you like about the UK, we're all better off because of the common law, because of human freedoms, because of the Christian faith that we inherited from them. They spread it around the world. For him to decide, well, I'm not going to represent that anymore. I'm going to just represent everybody. How dare he?
How dare he? I think it's an insult. It's like it's a betrayal. It's an absolute betrayal. James McPherson, what a pleasure to have you on Danica Goes Global.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, Hashem, Yahawashi, Hashem. Require Quadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. Shalom to the mighty Akim, Wathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity, as well as a speckled bird that may look like the other nations but are actually Yasharallah. This brother Kawa Cup coming at you with no lesson. Today's lesson, you see what happened here is apparently, and this is not the first time I brought this up, not in terms of the false king of Britain or whatever the fuck, false royalty, more like it, talking about how he's going to make things different and such. And as a result of that, I really thought this was a very important lesson, an important thing to bring to the public, because a lot of specifically the British people, the Edomite British people, they were complaining and saying, these people, these Muslims, are going to freaking take our wives and make Islam the dominant things if we keep on allowing them to come inside and whatnot. And then you got this dude, false king, all right, talking about he embraces that, he wants this to be properly represented and all that stuff or whatever. And basically the Edomite sentiment around the world is that they don't want, and also I think it might not be in Japan as much, but I did hear about this as well in Japan once, where there was a bunch of Muslims that were going to Japan and they were blocking this one whole section, and specifically for Japanese. They said if you are Japanese, or if they look at you and they say you are Japanese, you are not allowed to come over here. It's only foreigners only, and stuff like that. It was just a bunch of Muslims and stuff like that. So that was basically what's going on. And as a result of that, I'm not bringing this up to say I'm on the Muslim side. I'm not bringing this up to say I'm on the Edomite side, because I'm not on either side. All right, I genuinely don't care. Neither are my allies, neither are on my side or whatever. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is important for us to see that this is what's going on. This is biblical prophecy in the woodworks that lets us know that the Bible. Hold on. The Bible is it's real. All right, Matthew 24 verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. So the main thing here is that nation shall rise against nation. What does that mean? Wars. All right, you got ethnicities, like so-called blacks against whites, so-called Hispanics against whites, the so-called blacks against Hispanics, Japanese against Chinese, Japanese against Middle Eastern, white against Middle East, all that. All right, there's a whole bunch of stuff. All right, and it's just been happening and whatnot. So stuff has just been happening. It's been going on, and as a result of that, we're seeing how the average, your regular average everyday Edomite is starting to say, like, the leadership is betraying us. Why are you letting these people do whatever they want and whatnot? All right, and as a result of that, they feel betrayed. They feel like their interests are being abandoned. They feel like their needs are not being listened to or whatever, even though the Edomites have been complaining and saying that we don't want the Muslims to take over and whatnot. And apparently, Esau doesn't care. He's still doing that. He's still letting all this stuff continue. All right, which again, like I'm not saying that one or the other is good or bad or whatever, or one side is right or wrong. Neither of that matters to me, because regardless, who am I gonna win at the end of the day? I'm still gonna be under the rule of some other red devil, either the Ishmaelite or the Edomites or whatever. Okay, so at the end of the day, it really just does not matter to me. I'm not doing no bullshit ass, like, whatever. You basically get the point. All right, so this has been a thing, and now with that being said, 2 John 1 verse 7, for many deceivers are entered into the world, who confess not that Yahawashi Mashiach is come in the flesh, that this is a deceiver and antichrist. So how is it that when you got the Muslims, if you are a Christian nation, how are you a Christian nation when you are siding and co-signing with a whole ass religion that contradicts your beliefs? How is that all right to you? How is that something you're going to say, oh, this is a defender, this is a safe space for X, Y, and Z, this is a safe space for everyone, or whatever, when anyone, as the guy said, as the Edomite dude said, I think he's an Edomite, as he said, if you are knowledgeable in religion to a bit more of a base level degree, you would know that Muslims, they don't believe that Yahawashi is the son of Yahweh, or whom the world ignorantly calls, Jesus Christos. All right, the Muslims, they don't believe that. So for you to say that you are all for that, that just kind of says that raises an eyebrow, because if you actually believe that your believing your faith was correct, which this even goes into the whole 100% truth thing. If you believe that what you're following is the truth, then why would you have doubts? Why would you go against it? Why would you, put something else in it rather than just going along with what needs to be done, what needs to be said, or whatever? All right. So as a result of that, that's where you got this whole matter of this whole argument of why are you letting them be here, and why are you just making some gumbo of a bunch of different religions be together? All right, when that's not what the Bible says. All right, and let's continue on with that. As a matter of fact, Ephesians 5 verse 11, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. So we're supposed to be reproving people that are going off, but yet this man is saying, oh yeah, let's shake hands, let's all be in unity and all that stuff, rather than, no, I do not associate with any of this. I do not associate with that or whatever and stuff like that, X, Y, and Z. But instead, he's okay with it. He's all right. He's fine with letting this stuff perpetuate and be a thing. All right. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness? And even then, like, you really have to understand that when we have power, Yahawashi is not going to be about that whole inclusion thing. Let me actually get that. Peace. Luke chapter 12 verse 51, suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. Yahawashi said he didn't come to bring peace. He came to give division. Division, against ethnicities, division against what's that other one? Religions. Like, there is no purpose for a Christian and an atheist to be with each other. All right. Acts chapter 5 verse 38, and now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone, for if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. All right. So that's the thing. Like, refrain from these men, refrain from the wickedness, refrain from these people, rather than saying, oh, I'm going to go partner up with these other people and whatnot. All right. Which, it's such a desperate attempt. And this is like, we're seeing how the world is changing. All right. And call him LAWAYA because this is biblical prophecy. Romans 13 verse 11, and that knowing the time, it is high time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep. Let me start over. Romans 13 verse 11, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. So yeah, it's time. Like, it's been time for us to wake up, because especially with how absolutely absurd things are going, and people are just starting to, like, notice like, oh, look at how strange things are, look at how weird things are getting, and whatever. Like it's time. Like it's time for the end. It's time for Yahawadah to send Yahawashi to deliver us. All right. So with that, praise us, most edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawadah Hashem, Yahawashi by Hashem, require honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, about Shalom.